Let's go, man. Let's go. It's time.
Oh.
Yes.
What's going on, good people? Happy day. Let's dive right on into it.
Let's dive into it. So, on this interview, man, Coan Noir, shout out to Colin. He said that from this interview, this press conference, Kamala wants gun confiscation. Is that confiscation? Mm-hmm. In response to the Maine mass shooter.
Absolutely not.
So in her mind, she feels that if we get all these guns or certain kind of guns off, now we're in a safe zone. Wrong. I just put a post up on a community board. I don't know if you looked, but it showed this woman holding this sign. She said, hold on. Let me, just so I can quote right.
Which reminds me, I have really got to do better about public.
No,
I'm so sorry about that, guys. Made me think about it.
This is true, and this was on point, and it goes along with this. My post said, quit it. My post said, do you realize if Democrats would stop shooting people, gun violence would drop 90%. But confiscating the guns don't lead to a win.
It's not going to happen because they just passed HR 434.
Right.
I think that's what it is. Let me just check to make it right. But you guys know what the new gun law. It was a win in the House, and the new Speaker, Mike Johnson, was the one that was really backing it.
Right.
It's, HR, I want to say, is it 434? Yeah, HR 4394. No, I'm sorry, that ain't it.
Well, don't worry.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead. But you guys know
I'll play it at the end. I'll put it up on the screen.
Gun bill that was passed.
Okay.
So no.
Well, let's hear what Colin is saying about this, and
I was thinking about him if he had. I bet you he's got a video on his channel about it. Go ahead.
If there's a horrible shooting committed by a crazed lunatic in small town America, as we have now, they're going to jump on the opportunity to try to take guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens.
Gun violence has terrorized and traumatized so many of our communities in this country. And let us be clear, it does not have to be this way, as our friends in Australia have demonstrated.
Now, let's take a look at what Australia has actually done. In 1996, the country launched a huge crackdown on gun ownership, outlawing automatic and semi-automatic rifles and shotguns. They also launched a mandatory nationwide gun buyback. More than 640,000 guns were destroyed that year. In order to own a gun in Australia, you need to have a, quote, genuine reason for having one. And to go even further, they are right now trying to create a national gun registry. Joining me now is Coan Noir, Second Amendment advocate and attorney. Coan,
wow.
Is Kamala signaling a gun grab? As their dream is a gun grab in the United States. Is that not true?
No, that's absolutely true. She was even asked one time during an interview if she believed in a mandatory buyback, which is basically a euphemism for a confiscation. And she basically said, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. But they like to use these euphemisms to fool a lot of people in the masses so they don't realize that a gun buyback, a mandatory gun buyback, is literally a gun confiscation, which is exactly what they did in Australia. They call it a buyback, but it was mandatory, which is a confiscation.
So it's just the semantic game that they're playing. What was interesting, Coan, today, and looking through the coverage of what was happening, these horrific killings in Maine, is individuals who were barricaded in their homes would come out and talk to police and come out and talk to media. And so many of them were saying, thank you for being here to the police. I wish I owned a firearm. I saw that 3 or 4 times today. And I think when people feel vulnerable, they wish they could defend themselves.
Yeah, see, the irony is Maine is considered, the second most safest state in the country.
Wow.
And they also are considered one of the most pro-gun states in the country.
Really?
The thing is, though, when you live in a very safe environment, sometimes we get lulled into complacency.
Yeah, that's true.
And we think that we're safe because we feel safe, which doesn't necessarily mean you are safe. And then when you start to realize that, maybe I should have a firearm, it usually happens when it's too late.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's why you have individuals now saying, well, now there's a manhunt going on and the police don't know where he is. And now you're at home, you don't have a firearm and you have no means to protect yourself. And neither can the police because they're too busy looking for the guy. So that's the one thing that I've always tried to hamper onto people with respect to the Second Amendment. It's there to give you the ability to protect you and your family.
Yep.
And I just wish that people would understand that. But because of the semantics and the games that the left likes to play with respect to the Second Amendment, they fall into this belief system that nobody needs a firearm until you do.
Exactly.
And then at that point, it's too late.
It's over.
Yeah, or you have to just you.
Because think about it, man. If your gun, if your weapon isn't on you when you need it, let's say it's in the kitchen, you in the bedroom, something happened in the bedroom, someone come through your door, you are pretty much gunless. Who wants to be gunless in a big situation?
But
you don't.
But the question is, who wants to not be able to protect their family when they need to protect their family?
Right.
Period. Whether you're one person, you're a single person family, or you are a couple, or you have kids, you have elderly there. Regardless, each individual has the right to protect themselves, their home. And if you don't have to do that and you need it, that is a huge problem. And that's why they just recently passed the new bill that gives you the opportunity to protect yourself on that property.
On that property. So if you literally at the bank or the grocery store.
Yep. You can protect yourself. It's the taxpayer's right. You pay taxes on that land to be right there. You're the one paying the taxes for that. Now, the catch-22 is that you still have to abide by the laws of how to carry the weapon for that particular state.
And we're in the most gun restrictive state in the country. So they're going to do, Gavin Newsom, I'm sure will do everything they can to counter that in a way.
And I don't understand why, because, this is where we got to use the power of the pen and the power of our voice to be able to make noise, and those that want to, collaborate and do a positive, protest. If people are, that's your calling to do that, when you are able to go and go down there and in a what do you call it? In a way that's not ensuing anyone any danger, any harm, but you're going down there with the mindset of being able to speak to someone and civilly.
Yeah.
Then I don't see anything wrong with that. But we need to be able to use our voices so our government can know that but look at why these people are not able to survive, because they have no means of protection.
Yep.
And if any adults in that bowling alley had some form of protection, it could have been a chance that some of those people would not have lost their lives.
Look at the one where the guy was in Vegas. The guy ran up. That looked like some condos, or I don't know what that. It looked like condos or something like that. He ran in. The lady was sitting at the reception desk. I saw this from the video, and he fired at her, and she got on her desk, pop, 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 and something made him go back outside. But somebody was on the other end, had a gun. And I don't think this was security. I think it was just a person. And they fired at him, pop, 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 pop. Caught him in the arm. He laid him down. Now, imagine if the Maine situation, and the guy lived. He was living. And imagine in the Maine situation, if you had something similar, if you had one or two people in there that had something, then it would have ended then. A lot of lives would have been spared, because that deters the person. And that gives enough time for other people to run, too, if somebody else is engaged in fire.
Right. And the thing is, they keep wanting to remove the device that can also be used to protect someone's family against an intruder. They want to remove that device from the free will of purchase from sane people. So the person that just did the shooting in Maine, he had some mental health issues.
He did.
But that's where the disconnect and the gap is. The gap is between the mental health system and the gun system.
Yeah.
The mental health, and that's what I said once before in one of our videos, there needs to be some type of holistic institution, meaning some type of form of communication between these mental health agencies and stores that sell guns. They need to have a loop where their computer system ties into one another, so as soon as the person's name come up, you can see the information right there.
Yep.
That is the disconnect. You knowing the person has a mental illness is not solving the problem.
Yep.
The institution where he was at needs to be able to have access, or some whole mainframe, if it ain't invented, needs to be created with software and all that kind of stuff. So when people want to purchase a gun, their mental health history is going to come up.
And you know who should do that? If the government is so...
Bump confidentiality.
If the government, instead of them spending all their resources talking about confiscating guns, implementing something on a governmental level when they enter into a database that it come back and say, red flag this person. That's what y'all do.
That's what needs to be changed. Trying to remove the gun that's going to benefit in protecting people who are not mentally disturbed, people who don't have mental health issues, and knows how to handle and use and manage their emotions, in a productive way.
Yeah.
Why would they need to be penalized? They're the ones that's going to be harmed when the people who can't do that or who are insane are doing exactly what they're doing. That is the disconnect. But I don't understand why they can't figure that part out.
Because the people that are fighting for this, who fighting on this, that's making ridiculous rhetoric, Old Joe, Gavin Newsom, the Purge Master, and cackling Kamala. These two people, that's people on this side, on the left side, that all these people are fighting for it. Fighting for the same old rhetoric. And it's nothing.
And the sad
It's
part
nothing.
is, if something goes down, they may not have guns, but they got security that has protection, and it's not just gonna be no pepper spray, stun
gun, yeah.
and
I wouldn't doubt
batons.
I wouldn't doubt you walked in Kamala house, somewhere in their house, it's a firearm. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Right. I'm going to protect me, but you ain't going to protect you. There's no logic in that at all. I don't understand why they can't figure out how hard is it to see that the mental health system, and that's still only a part of the problem, because when you're becoming an adult, you don't have to go and get the treatment.
Yeah.
You're not mandated to. As a kid, whoever your caregiver is, they got to take you and make sure you're getting the treatment and help that you need technically.
Yeah.
But when you become an adult, it's up to you to go and get the help that you need. But what if you don't do that? So you still don't know. You got a percentage of people that get the help they need, and then you got the percentage of people that don't get the help they need.
Yep.
And those that don't get the help they need may go out and purchase the gun, and you still falling short. So, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to resolve that problem, but at least start somewhere.
We'll get close
where
to
we
it
can resolve
when you get a better
a portion
administration.
of it. Yes.
You get a better administration. You stop hearing about this as much. And you know who the people you'll hear about it as much? The same old leftist people shouting out, we got to do something with the guns. But from an administrative level, it won't be. It'll be more silent.
You need to do something about the people who are able to purchase the guns.
All right. Well, that's what it is, man. Lead them to the water, baby.
All right, guys. Take off the helmets.
Take your helmet off. Go ahead.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Keep coming back. Keep giving us the feedback in the comments section. We appreciate you. We love you. And stay tuned for more of Sibo and Snap. Yeah.